Hi everybody, Alex Deploy here from Expert Forex, and in this video we're going to be looking at 3 MetaTrader strategy tester back testing models. And this is a very important area because I find the most experienced traders make huge mistakes in this particular area, and they choose the wrong model and make really bad decisions regarding their robot trading as a result of that. Just to remind you, this is part of the Get the Best Out of Your Trading Robot course, and we are looking at testing, optimizing, and forward testing your robot. And we are over here where we are looking at testing the MT4 models that are available in the MT4 strategy tester that you can use to test your robots. So what are we talking about when we say testing models? As you've seen in a previous video, when you use the strategy tester, there is a choice of which model do you want to use. There it is. And there's a drop down, and there's 3 items that you can test. There's the every tick method, which is the most precise method, the control points, which is a crude method, and then there's the open prices method. And I'm going to go through those methods one by one. The other thing that you can do is you can be using a tick data and you can be using broker data. So I'm also going to use examples of that being used in conjunction with these methods. So first let me explain what these methods mean. So every tick is when you're trading live, the price reacts to every new update, which is called a tick. So as you're trading, you'll see the price jumping up and down. That's because ticks are coming in and updating the price on a regular basis. You can have a couple of ticks in a few seconds. So that is the closest you can get to real trading. If the EA is trading tick data, it is trading as if it's trading the real price action. That is why tick data is the most precise method of trading. Then I'm going to jump to the open price method. And the open price method is by far the simplest way of back trading, and you'll see that it is extremely fast, because all it does is it uses the open and closing prices of the candle. And it's specifically designed to only be used on EAs that make their decisions on what we call the close of the candle or the open of the candle. So in other words, if you're trading a moving average system and the moving average says, I will only trade once the candles have closed and the moving averages have, for instance, crossed over, or they're pointing in the same direction, or anything like that. So the EA will do nothing between the open of that price and the close of that price until the candle has closed. The EA will do nothing and only respond then and say, all right, what has happened to the moving averages in this particular example? So it is a very unusual method to use, because it does rely on your EA being written to only use open and close price decision making. Now, there are very few EAs that actually do that, because the minute you bring in trailing stops and price levels and all that type of thing, it's not only the entry that's important, but it's also the exit that's important, and therefore the accuracy can suffer quite considerably. If you are not sure about which method to use, and you think open prices is the right method to use, all you do is you run a test on open prices, and then you run the same test on tick data, and the answers should be the same. If they're not, then you know open prices is not applicable to your EA. And then the third method, which is probably the most complicated one, and don't worry too much if you don't understand the technicalities behind it, but what it does is, let's say you are testing on the 30-minute time frame. So you are testing on the 30-minute time frame. What it will do is it will say, I know you're testing on the 30-minute time frame, but I'm actually going to drop down into another time frame and do my testing on that. So in other words, instead of reading one candle as the case is for open prices, it will read a whole lot of candles, and therefore it has more accuracy in tracing the price movement as it is happening during the testing, because it's actually referring to sometimes 4 candles. If you're trading the 4 hour, and it will drop down to the 1 hour, and there would be 4 candles. So that is how that one works. It's a bit complicated, but it is more accurate than the open price method. And again, you always need to compare any of the tests that you do. You have to compare to the tick method to see how accurate those tests are. And that in fact is what I'm going to be showing you right now. Okay, so I've set up a test here. It's going to run for about 7 months. It is the maximum lot EA that's under development at the moment. We're doing the pound, and I'm going to run it on all 3 the methods. Let's see what the differences are in the results. Now, the every tick method is a very slow method because it's actually reading every tick that's coming in. And I'm going to start this test, and there it's going. You can see how slow it is, and it's now testing those, how many, that's most probably 7 months that it's testing there. And as you can see, it's going pretty slowly. The graph's starting to update, and the results are updating in the account, and so on. And let's see what the results are at the end of this run. Okay, it's finished the run. We go to report, and we have a look, and we say, okay, we've made $2,652 using the tick method of backtesting. Okay, so I'll note that number down, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do the control points and have a look how much faster the control points end up to be. So we click it again, and oh, there we go, pretty fast. And we say, okay, what are the new, oh, look at this. This one resulted in a $10,654 profit. Much higher profit, but remember, it was done on a less accurate basis. Okay, so we're going to do the same test using the open prices. And that's the fastest one. If you blinked, you might have missed that one, and we'll have a look at that. And that one has actually resulted in a loss. So you can see the massive difference between using open prices, control points, and every tick. Now, those results also show that control points and open prices are inappropriate for this particular EA, because if they were accurate, they would agree with the every tick, which is the most accurate result. So it just shows you that this particular EA requires an every tick testing, and most of the EAs that we produce do require every tick testing. I'm going to do something else now. I have used special tick data, which I import. It's a subscription service, and there's a special video that I make to show how the subscription service works. But I'm actually going to unclick that. So in other words, I'm not going to be using tick data anymore. I'm going to be using the broker's data. I'm going to run exactly the same test. So seeing that this one is set up for open prices, I'm just going to run that one very quick, get an answer, and there it's 1889 for open prices. Let's have a look. You can see here the quality is extremely poor. That MetaTrader doesn't like the quality that's come through here. Then we'll go to control points, and I'll show you why it doesn't like the quality. And we'll start again. And there are the results. Let's have a look. 1878. And now let's go and do it on every tick. Now the broker data cannot provide every tick data, and I'll show you why in the next step. So let's run it on every tick. And there it goes, and let's have a look. And it is 1896. So those are the results. Now, this is what happens in testing. A lot of experienced traders do exactly what I've just done. But now the difference is here. Look at the number of trades. Only 5 trades were made. Now, that's a clue that there's something wrong. And if we look at the graph, you can see there's only 5 trades that have been done. And if you look at the account, you'll see it started in January and ended at the end of January. So it has literally tested 2 weeks, but it doesn't tell us it's only tested 2 weeks. It just gives us those results. So if you don't know to look for these things, you will take these results and you say, these settings are pretty good because they've all resulted in positive results and nice results. And you would think, oh, these settings are pretty good settings, although they've only been tested on 2 weeks of the 7 months that have been tested. So that is a problem with broker data, is firstly, the quality is poor, and secondly, the quantity is very poor. Now, why is the quality so poor for broker data? Here we can see what I do is I go and find the history center, which all you do is you click on tools in the main menu and you go to the history center. And here's the Aussie, for instance, and I've got on this particular one, I've got the 1 hour history center open. Now, that you must appreciate, there's no tick data here. All that there is an open price, a high price, a low price, and a close price. That's all there is that MetaTrader saves for as broker data. So you can already see there's no tick data, so you could never get to the most accurate reading that you want. The other thing is that look at the number of records that are stored, 2,084. Now, if you then go to the 1 minute time frame, that was the 1 hour, this is the 1 minute, it stores the same amount of data. So that is why the lower down you go in the time frames, you experience a highly reduced number of candles, and therefore your quantity of test data goes right down. Like for 1 minute, I think it's only down to 1 week, and for 1 hour it is most probably only open for about 2 months. So the quantity is a big problem, but a lot of people don't realize this. Firstly, the quality is bad because it doesn't have tick data, and secondly, the quantity is often bad, but they don't check on it. They don't see this happening, and therefore they accept those settings as well-tested settings, and they trade accordingly. So here's a summary of the results that we've registered in our 6 tests that we've done. As I say, don't use the broker data. It is broken, it's bad quality, bad quantity, don't use it. The tick data is okay. Every tick results are the most accurate you could ever get. The control points, although it would be nice to believe that, they are not accurate. The open price results are also not reliable. So what are the downsides of using every tick? Every tick is extremely slow, and it can take you a whole day to test a basic robot using every tick. The other ones, control points, are very fast, and open prices very fast. So a trick that some traders do is they actually optimize on those two, and they get the best setting, and then they convert it. In other words, they run those settings as if they are using tick data, and sometimes that actually produces really good results, nice positive results, and then they've saved themselves 1 day of settings. If you use control points, the test might only run for 10 or 20 minutes, and you will have saved a whole day of testing by converting the control points to tick data. And in fact, that is what we do when we optimize, when we run 20 million tests at the end of every month to produce freshly optimized settings for all our robots. Now, I hope you've learned a little bit about how important it is to use the right model when backtesting, and also use the right type of data. Tick data is so much more superior to your broker data or any other data that you can use. There's another video that I produced where I talk about getting 99% accurate tick data. It is a paid service, but they do provide 2 weeks of trial. So what a lot of traders do is they do the trial, they test their robot, and then they don't need to use that data anymore. If you have any questions regarding this video, please make the comments in the YouTube comments section or in the comments section provided by the course. From me, Alex Aploy, thanks for watching. Cheerio.